Hello there guys, and welcome to this another video tutorial on Photoshop. Today I'll show you how to create this neat, nice glossy look button. So this is what I have as a completed product. Let's start. Let's create a new document, and the size doesn't really matter, depends on what size of button you're looking for. Okay, once you have that, let's add a gradient background. So to my gradient tool, I'm going to select any color. Let's say take an orange, this one, and I'll select a radial gradient and just draw the gradient here. Okay, once you have that done, let's create a new layer, and I'll select the ellipse tool. Make sure you have shapes selected here at top, just the fills. Okay, and I'll keep white as my foreground color, and holding my shift key, I'm just going to draw a nice round circle there. Let's center that. Okay, once you have that done, let's duplicate this. Right click, duplicate, or you could use a shortcut Control J. And now let's transform this and make this a bit smaller. I just want a round circle on the edges there, so Control T to transform, and holding my shift key, I'm just going to size in a bit in between. Hold it in your shift key and your alt to take it in right and center. Okay, there, just a bit, and tick on the checkbox here. Once you have that done, let's go to our blending options of the one we just created, the smaller one. Let's call this the outer, let's call this one inner. Okay, now double click on my layer in the side here to open up. I'm going to select outer glow for this, and I'm going to change the blend mode. Let's bring this a bit down. Selecting the blend mode to normal. I'll take a light gray color here. Select OK. Lower the opacity here a bit. We don't want a really strong edge there, just a slight. Well, that's good. Okay, once you have that done, let's select inner shadow, sorry, and lower the opacity here. Change the blend mode to normal, way up, and again we just want a slight shadow in there, and lower this to 10%, just a slight. It won't really be seen, but it kind of adds a look to that. Okay, now I'm going to select a gradient overlay and change this color here. Let's switch to radial, and we'll put it somewhere right there on the top. And I'm looking to create something. I think we'll take this orange itself. Okay, and no need to play with that. Okay, press on OK. Once you have that done, we will add a shine here right on the top. So what I'm going to do is select the inner part of the circle here. So control click on my inner selection here, and once you have that selected, create a new layer, and I'm going to name this shine. Now using my pen tool, I'm going to chop off the lower portion of this circle selection here. So with my pen tool selected, make sure you have paths checked on top. Click and drag inward and just make a curve like that. Hold on your alt and click at the last point here to remove that extra curve there. Make sure you have all the parts selected. Alt and the last click. Now right click and select make selection, and we want to set any feathers. Make sure you have subtract from selection as the operation. Click on OK. Now once you have the top selection there, make sure you're on your new shine layer. Switch back to your radial gradient, and I'm switching to white to transparent. White to transparency occurs when you have your foreground color set to white. Okay, or it would let's say you have black as a foreground, you have black to transparent. So make sure you have white as a foreground and you have white to transparent. Let's change the gradient to radial, not radial, sorry, linear, and let's just drag from in to out just to make a nice shine there. Let's do that again. Here we go. Once you have that, let's Control D to deselect that and change your blending mode to overlay. You have this nice shining color overlapping effect there. What I'm going to do is add an effect to that. So go back to my blending options of the shine layer and select drop down shadow. I think I'll take glow for this, and I'll select normal as the blend mode, lower the opacity, and I'm going to select black for this color. You'll just see that in a moment. And I'm going to spread this right. Let's slow that. I think I'll switch to shadow, and it will be more clear for this. And because the option I'm doing is shadow, because I'd have a movable, the glow won't do that. So just slide lower this opacity here. Let's lower the size up to 0. Now let's shift that just a bit. You don't want it so strong, and lower the opacity here just so that you don't have any extra curves there inside. Turn the angle a bit. Yeah, that's perfect. Okay, click on OK. Once you have that done, let's add some kind of shine on the other sides here. Let's create a new layer. I'm going to switch to my pen tool, and first of all I'm going to set a brush size, so making my hardness up to 100. I'm selecting a default brush here. My hardness up to 100, size somewhere around, I think, 4 pixels. That's too thick. Let's make that 2 pixels. Now switch back to your pen tool with your new layer. I'm just going to zoom in here a bit, and I'm going to add a shine at this point here. It's just a curve type of effect here. Just click and drag with your pen tool, and somewhere at this point make sure you have it exactly aligned with the outer layer edge. Okay, once you have that curve, right click, select stroke path, and choose brush as your tool. Make sure you have stimulate pressure checked. Click on OK. Well, you have a sharp edges here. Our stimulate pressure didn't really work. Let's fix our brush again. Back to my brush, press on F5 and select shape dynamics, lower the jitter size to 0. Now let's try that again. Pen tool, right click, stroke path, stimulate pressure checked. Okay, let's escape twice to remove that path. Here we go, one nice shine. We just adjust that at this angle somewhere on the side. Move this a bit in this side here. Let's take this right at this point. We'll add a couple more, so I'm going to hold on my Alt key and just make another copy. Just transform that, Control T, and I'll add one just on this side, just to make it look not just single one there. Just nudge that a bit. There we go, a nice shine effect there. Okay, now let's add an outer glow for the whole thing here to make it look like it's somewhere pressed in. So for that I'm going to go to my outer layer here, double click to blending options, select outer glow, and normal as the blend mode. Keep the opacity somewhere around 40% and make sure you're black. Let's increase the size here a bit. I think I'll switch the blend mode to overlay, so that it takes a dark orange color depending on the background. That's good. Okay, once you have that done, let's type in something in here. So I'm going to switch to my type tool. I'm going to type in P, let's call this P2L. Oops, wrong fonts there. Let's switch to Gotham Bold, and I'm going to size this up to 90%, 90 points, sorry, and let's get them close together. Lower this to a bit thinner version. There we go. I'm going to center this text in to the circle there, so control click on any of our selections here, center it vertically and horizontally. Zoom in a bit, make that L a bit more thinner too. Let's make this one thinner. I think I like that. Just close them a bit more. There we go. Again, let me center this. Okay, once it's centered, a bit left. Yeah, I'm gonna add a nice button press type of effect for this text. So double click on the side here, and again a slight shadow around 40%, 1 and an inner shadow of 10%, 1. Let's make that 20%. Yeah, it's good. And add a gradient here via silverish type effect color, sorry, and let's take light gray to white. It's good. That's fine. Now let's add a reflection for this. For that, I'm gonna do is Control J to duplicate my text, Control D to transform, right click, flip vertical, enter to apply that. Just nudge this down, which I read below your text here. I'm gonna bring this down and select my mask, radial, select gradient, and select black to white. Make sure you have linear selected as the option. Hold on shift, click and drag downwards, drag upwards, and let's lower the opacity here just a slight. Just change that mode to whole and increase that a bit. Here we go. Control 1 to zoom back. There we have. I hope this is something you're looking for. We're creating something similar to this, not exactly same, but kind of same. There we go. You could add some more shines in the bottom. Let's say we try one. Create a new. Select your inner selection by clicking on Control and clicking on the inner. Let's create a new layer and call this lower shine. Switch back to your gradient, and I'm taking white to transparency again, linear, and one right here. Let me just make it stronger. Yep. Now I'm going to just nudge this right on top and select soft light. There we go. Kind of, let's lower this opacity. Don't want it really bright. So lower that too. Here we go. Oh, I hope you learned something from this. This is a nice glossy text effect. Thanks for watching, and make sure you visit my other videos and do comment to them and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.